is. We gotta get that clock fixed.
Okay, we'll call meeting to order. Shelley, can you do roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. District 1, Councilman Rios.
Present.
District 2, Councilman Pastor.
Here.
District 3, Councilman Leatham.
Present.
District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Here.
District 5, Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
District 6, Councilman Shipley.
Here.
Mayor Gameros.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Chief, can you lead us in the invocation?
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful unto thee for those blessings that we enjoy. We're grateful for this community and for the opportunities it provides. We're grateful to those who serve here and work to keep our town running and safe. We would ask thee at this time for thy blessings on those that have been impacted around us by the fires, and would pray that thou would bless our land with the rain that it needs. Please bless these proceedings this evening and watch over those who are represented here. These things we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. You can lead us in the pledge.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I
Start with summary of current events. Mariano, we'll start with you down there.
Mr. Mayor, last week I had the privilege of attending the Rural Policy Forum. And in a nutshell, what it is people from the small communities of Arizona. And they band together and they present to each other the good things that they accomplished in the last year in their community. And this year it was an eye-opener. From trying to think of the right city name. Bisbee, Naco to Page. There are people finding the hard work and finding the donations, large and small, to refurbish buildings that were built in the 1880s, turning them into, in some cases, refurbished houses, in some cases, parts of city blocks for arts and scientists and education. And it's all across Arizona. And that's the realization I had while I was there. We're not unique. It's happening across all of Arizona. For some reason, people are stepping up. And they're finding the funding and they're getting things done in their communities. In ours, yes, we have the Pasco Stairs, we have a vibrant arts program, we have Hill Street School, which was put on the table to be reviewed by our colleagues. But the point is, you know, the throw out Phoenix and Tucson, the big boys. It's the small cities and towns that are getting the work done in their own communities. And I'm proud to be part of that. To be able to scare up funding for a new arts program and gradually installing half a city block of programs like that. They're finding the money. They're flipping houses using creative financing. And then a lady from Bisbee and Naco, who wouldn't take no for an answer or doesn't know what it means to be told no, you can't do that. She just turned around and got other financing from other sources. And that's the way they are succeeding in rural Arizona. And I'm really proud of that. It's quite a resurgence, I think, in the last 5 years, Mr. Mayor, that this is being done at the local level and tapping local resources. And sometimes the big boys come to town, like the mines and the other big dogs in rural Arizona. They're stepping up. And I'm really proud to be a part of that right now. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Fernando?
I think Mariano pretty much covered it. I also attended, but we had a presenter on there, and thought she did very, very well for us. So,
Thank you. Freddie?
I just want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our first responders, fire, public works, police. It's hot out there. I know it's not an easy time. The heat brings on a lot of passion from the citizens, a lot of disruption. And it takes a special person to be able to navigate through all that. So I just want to extend my thank you to all of you, the city staff that has to go through all these environmental changes that we go through and still provide the quality service that you do. So thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Mike?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say something, but I can't think of anything right now, so I'll let Jesse take over.
Mayor, I don't have anything to report, thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of things. I just want to remind everybody that starting this weekend, the pool's going to stay open for an adult, well, it could be kids too, but every Friday and Saturday night, they're going to open the pool and keep it open until 8 o'clock for a later night swim for us adults. I know I took my grandkids there a month ago or whatever. I could barely get in the water because there's so many kids. So I think it'll be cool to have, some time for the adults. So that's starting this weekend. Then the second, I saw that Gila Community College student orientation is coming up this Thursday, the 14th, in room 522. And there's 3 different times, 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m. So if you're interested in taking classes or want to sign up, that's the time to go. And then lastly, Coffee with the Mayor has been canceled for August. That we're going to be back over there at Copper City's Coffees on September 17th, which is a Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So I hope that you guys join us for that. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I think a couple of us in the council attended a town hall yesterday with our Senator, U.S. Senator Gallegos. It was well attended, about 100 people were there. Got to, understand a little more explanation on what's going on. But he visited not only our city, but Apache Junction and went to some other areas. So it was well attended. And we'll be leaving for the League of Cities next week, so council will be at that where we go and learn, meet with other communities throughout the state. So we'll be there next week. Just wanted to announce that.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, nothing from city manager tonight, thank you.
Thank you. So we go to our first call to the public, and this is a time that anyone from the public wishes to address the council can do at this time. There is a 3-minute limit, and just understanding that council cannot respond to any remarks that are presented to the council, but can direct staff to follow up with any comments. I do have I have Yolanda Correa. If you wanted to come up and state your name and your address here, Yolanda.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Yolanda Curiel. I would like to start off by explaining about the property that I own next to Circle K. Yes, a couple of blocks from here. I have owned that property for 18 years, and I never had a problem until a couple of years ago. I was harassed by the code enforcement that I have to do asphalt on that property. I have so many things thrown on me. I'm so confused. I am looking for your help since we have so many hearings, emails back and forth, and we haven't agreed to anything. Who can afford asphalt? I gave him an option, decomposed granite. They said at the beginning it was okay, so I quoted Circle K, the monthly rent lease, according to my expenses to decompose granite. Now they come and say asphalt. If I do asphalt, I'm not gonna see rent in 30 years. I already did my math. To do asphalt on that piece of property cost $90,000 last year when I quoted. I'm sure this year it will be 110. So I'm looking for your help since the city cannot help me. I have done what they asked me. I had a survey done. I hired an engineer. She came to one of the hearings and explained them asphalt is not the best option since I'm on a flat zone. They insist asphalt. Why? There are so many other options. We're on a rural community. We're not in Phoenix. We don't want hot. Is one of the reasons I choose to live in Globe, because it's not as hot as Phoenix. I am willing to upgrade my property, but not at the cost of asphalt. That I can afford it. I told the city, go for it. I'll give you permission, do it. But they say they don't have the money. So if the city doesn't have the money, who has the money? I've been fighting cancer for 6 years. At this moment, I'm doing a treatment that is not covered by my insurance. It costs me close to $1,000 a month. And I'm paying out of pocket. I have a big debt, but I'm fighting for my life. So I'm under so much stress. I had a cancer relapse, and I'm sure my oncologist was, what kind of a stress you have? The city of Globe. I'm sure that stress has to do with my cancer. So I don't want to hire a lawyer because I cannot afford a lawyer, but I'm sure I have a case. I lost 2 years of rent already. I finally signed another lease, and code enforcement contacted Circle K. They're not allowed to park their cars there. Where are they going to park it? They don't have much room. So Circle K emails me back. I had received one check. They emailed me back, we're not paying you rent. What I did, I went and deposited that check before they canceled. What else am I going to do? I feel that I've been biased against and racial profiling to me because of my race. When there are so many places, I went from Globe to Fry's, took pictures. I brought him to the hearing, the picture with the name. There are so many properties that are dirt, gravel. Why is mine? That one doesn't cause so much dust. I'm willing to upgrade. They ask for retaining walls, for landscape, which I agree. But there is one thing that I can agree, asphalt. So I appreciate if you guys help me with this. So now Circle K is not going to pay rent because they got that email that they can park there. Another thing, when I got cited 2 years ago, I told them, can I do fence? No fence allowed. I just saw on the highway this hurricane fence. That's what I feel discriminated, because other people can do things and I can't. I wanted to keep the people off my property. I don't want to be sued if someone gets hurt there. They have me with tied hands. So thank you for your time, and I hope you come up with some solution. There are so many stuff. There is something else besides the composed granite. I talked to a company. I forgot what is the name, but it's something close to asphalt. It's 3 letters. I have so much on my head that I forgot. But there is the composed granite, there is millings, there is so many things besides asphalt that is going to hold the water better than asphalt. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Yolanda. Do we have any other on phone or?
Didn't see anything on the phone. Let me check real quick there.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, we do have something. We may see if it's an advertisement or a comment. Let's see. I have 2. I'm trying to see if they're duplicate or different. So this is, the same, it looks like the same one. Let me read this to you, okay? This is from Sarah Langstrom. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Sarah, and I'm a resident on Third Street in Globe. I am writing about an agenda item requesting the purchase of a vehicle for your building department. I follow your meetings regularly via YouTube, and I remember recently in July, during the passage of the budget, the Public Works Director completed a presentation on the need for vehicles for his department. The presentation painted a grim picture of the Public Works fleet, noting that 45% of his fleet was in poor or critical condition. If the department is in such need of vehicles, why are the savings from the purchases not being used to purchase an additional vehicle for the Public Works wastewater department? Public Works is the heart and backbone of the city. They are individuals that do the job that no one else wants to do for the least amount of pay and the least amount of recognition. It just seems that if council was to move forward with a purchase for the building department with funds saved from the Public Works wastewater department, that you would be overlooking the urgent need that the Public Works has to put another self-funded department needs first. As a citizen, I recognize that the vehicle that is being used for the building department is older and the maintenance costs have increased. However, if the building department is in need of a new vehicle, it should have been placed in the budget, and there should have been utilizing funds from the new building fees that have recently been implemented. As a taxpayer, I feel that the remaining funds for the Public Works wastewater diligent procurement efforts should be used to purchase additional Public Works vehicles and not vehicles for other self-sustaining departments that seem to be capitalizing on the efforts of the Public Works Department. Thank you for your time. And that's all I have.
You'll get us a copy of that, won't you?
Oh, if council would like, yes.
Yeah, we'd like to see a copy of it. Special presentations, item 3A is Chief Dale Walters will introduce the new K-9 police officer Leonard Kursikowski and K-9 officer Roscoe.
Good job, Mayor.
Wow,
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council.
I had to think of that one.
Mr. Mayor, that was highly impressive. It's my pleasure to introduce Leonard, and just so everybody knows, he likes to be referred to as Ski. I think over time, he's just got used to it, so people don't butcher his name like I would. So Officer Ski, would you come on down and bring your partner Roscoe with you? So Ski started in law enforcement in 1999. He's got a total of 24 years as a police officer, and 16 of those years has been a canine handler. He retired from Gila County Sheriff's Office last year, and we were very fortunate into being able to recruit him for us. And along with him, he brought his dog Roscoe. Roscoe is 5 years old, and we've been holding off introducing him to all of you until the initial field training was done with Leonard, and then he also got the vet clearance for Roscoe and all the canine certifications. So he is a fully functional, dual certified police canine, both in narcotics and in as a police patrol dog. Very good. Any questions of Canine Officer Leonard Ski?
Yes, I have one. How long does it take to train?
Every day. Every day. It's, each dog has a different learning process a little bit. You know, ones are pretty good, they catch on.
Officer, can we get closer
Hey,
to the
Steve,
mic
come
so
over here to the podium.
Come on up here.
that way they can hear online too?
I'm gonna stand
So
behind
the
this
train
one.
went by and he was in the truck, parked right up next to the street, and it blew his ears, so he's super hyper right now. So I'm just gonna let him have his toy, so that he can calm down a little bit. Diamond. Was there a microphone right here?
Thank you.
Butts. Get your foot on stuff. You do that all the time. I'm gonna have to cut those off. Come on. Yeah, off. Ivan. So each canine does have a little bit different speed at which they learn, but every day that you're working, you need to train them. if I'm taking him on a walk somewhere, that's part of his training. He has to abide by don't chase the rabbit, because we live out in the woods. So elk, deer, rabbit, we have problems with javelina. I need to keep control of them all the time. It's all part of having a canine. It took him, he came out of Holland. I had him certified in about a month and a half on narcotics. I can't remember the exact amount of time it took him on patrol. It was a little longer on patrol because over in Holland, they train dogs to cut them loose into a crowd and let them just bite everybody without a lot of control. So to get control of this 104-pound Mal that is overdriven took a while. He was snapping leads and having all kinds of things go on. So we had to teach him the American way to do law enforcement. And so that patrol part of it took a lot longer.
Interesting, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Does that dog stay with you 24 hours a day or?
Yes, he's my little 2-year-old that'll never leave the house.
I just have a curious question.
Sure.
We had a canine in the fire department.
Yes, Evo,
Right.
trained with her a lot.
So I know Joe would speak German to his dog. Do you have to speak German to your dog or no?
It's Dutch, but
Dutch.
Dutch and German are pretty similar. And there's 2 reasons why. A lot of people are really curious as to why we have to use a different language. One, they found that they actually, respond better to their native tongue. Just like I'm Polish, and it was easy for me as a kid to learn Polish, even though I wasn't born in Poland. I grew up in that environment, and don't ask me to say a lot of the words now because I totally forgot. But the other thing is I don't want anybody trying to tell my dog what to do, even though they're not going to be able to. He's linked to me through this lead. This is our umbilical cord, so yeah, that's the reason for that language. Evo was a great dog.
Yeah, she
did
was.
really well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Freddie?
So why the canines from out of the country?
Americans have really kind of, I hate to say it this way, but there's no other way to put it, they've screwed up the breeding. So to get a good dog that has good genes, you want to go across seas sometimes. And a lot of the dogs that come into America or are purchased in America still come from overseas. It's a big business for them, and they really produce a great canine. If you look at the size of this dog, the muscle structure, the head, leave it off, bleiben. You're not going to get that from an American bred dog, really. But you'll get, this dog was $12,500, and I got to keep him when I left because there was nobody to handle him. He's a lot to take on, but we made super good progress. He's got hundreds and hundreds of arrests. So I'm grateful to bring him to Globe. We are gonna tackle the drug problem here. So,
One more question.
Go to the team.
thank you, guys.
So, is he or she a drug dog too?
Narcotics and patrol,
Okay.
and I can break it down a little bit. We don't do any marijuana searches. He's not imprinted on that. Basically what he's trained on and imprinted on and certified on is meth, heroin, coke, fentanyl. And we are in the process of getting new odors and stuff and moving forward a lot of new training. He can find evidence if somebody throws something out in the field as they're running from a crime scene. They'll find that. He'll track you. He'll do building searches. We can extract people from cars with him on a long line. His capabilities are just incredible.
Cool.
And I'm willing at some point, if you guys want to know exactly how it all works, I will do a demo for you. They're pretty fun to watch.
Be good.
Yeah.
Fernando?
So if a dog hits on a vehicle or somebody's belongings, that is on the street, right?
Yes. Well,
I'll see if Paul can arrange
a
it.
vehicle, yes, belongings. On the side of the road, if a vehicle's mobile, if something is mobile, there becomes an exigency circumstance to search. Other places, you're gonna wanna type up a warrant. Yeah, you're gonna get probable cause off the alert, but only if that is able to leave the area do you have the ability to search it right then and there.
Welcome aboard then, and
Thank
a
you,
great
guys.
addition to Chief Walter's staff.
Yep.
Yep.
Great.
He pulled me into this.
He does that a lot.
He does that, yeah. He has a knack for that.
So I'm glad to be here, guys. Anything else?
So if there is a demonstration, how do we coordinate that with Chief?
I just need one of you to get in the bite suit. How did I know the?
I volunteer Mike.
I'll be more than happy to.
Who made you bleed with the bowler wrap?
I know, that was fun.
Yeah, we would be happy to do it. We will be given if you guys wanna, if some of you wanna come out for the Citizens Academy, we will be doing a canine demonstration with the Citizens Academy on top of some really, really good food.
Oh,
That'd be,
I'm hosting the show. So,
we'll be here.
So we'll make sure that, and then for those of you that can't make it, we'll host another one, maybe this year's open house at the PD or something, we'll host another one.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, to Chief Walters, so this was under the category of a bite dog?
Yes, it's a patrol dog.
Yeah.
And so, he can be sent to apprehend suspects,
Okay.
which normally entails someone getting bit. So, they're trained for this. Ski's been training up our officers, to be for it and stuff like that. He's been certified with it, so, he's a well-rounded, experienced dog with an incredibly experienced handler.
But this is not the dog to take to third grade class for a show and tell or,
He can do some demos, but I'm comfortable with Ski, and I'll take his lead on it, but he's not gonna be the first pick to go to the DARE graduation or something without special precautions put in place.
so we, all right.
Are you
thank
volunteering for the bike suit then?
Maybe.
I can do it, you can do it, no problem.
I can do it. We'll do it together.
We'll throw you to the dogs.
thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Item B is Chief Walters will update the council on the Arizona Law Enforcement Accreditation Program on-site assessment.
Mayor and council, before we move on to that, I wanted to bring up one further thing as far as the canine program. We've really struggled with our program since I've been here. The loss of handlers, the loss of dogs, and then the experienced trainer that was in the region that we kind of depended on for our training had retired and left. It was truly a blessing to be able to recruit Ski to come to the Globe Police Department, and him and I are already working on succession planning for that program to really take off and be secure within the department. So we're hoping by this time next year, we'll have a second canine on. So we're operating either end of the week, 7 days a week. There'll be a canine officer available for the patrol officer. So we're trying to get this program to go. Having been the lieutenant over the program at Chandler, I'm well aware of the time and energy it takes to really do this. Some of the things he talked about, in America, the national pastime is baseball. It's kind of morphed into football. But in Belgium, it's training dogs. And if you look at some of the trainings that they get, and that's why they recruit the dogs from there, the quality of the bloodlines and the quality of the baseline training that they do with those dogs. So they're incredible to watch when they're working. Moving on to the accreditation. We had a wonderful 2 days with the on-site assessors. They looked at every aspect of the police department, property and evidence. They rode along with patrol officers. They interviewed staff on both days, all day long. They inspected our property and evidence room. They inspected the police department, our vehicles, and they met with our detectives and the Family Advocacy Center staff. And the report they got back to me is we had 100% clearance on everything. Their report will be written, and then it'll go to the ALEAP commission in the end of September. I'll be at that conference with my staff. Everybody that was directly involved with accreditation will be attending. We have to attend and present ourselves in front of the board. They'll have some questions for us, and if we pass that final hurdle, they will award us accreditation status at that convention. I want to say thank you to my staff because they were amazing.
The amount of work that they put into this for the last several years was insurmountable, and they should be commended for the efforts they put forward. But I also want to thank this body, because if it wasn't for your support and the support of the city manager, we wouldn't have been able to cross the threshold into the things that we've done to meet those minimum standards. And so you all helped us make this happen. So thank you. And then the last thing is just a reminder, this has to be maintained. Like I said before, I can't be here forever. There needs to be something put in place as a condition of employment. Every chief needs to make sure that they maintain it. We owe it to our citizens and we owe it to our employees to make sure that that level of professionalism and best practice is always adhered to from now moving forward. If we don't, we run the risk of slipping back to where we were. And I would hate to ever see that. I've worked a little too hard to get us to where we're at, to go backwards. So, and that's really up to council and city management. Any questions?
Questions, comments?
Just have a comment. I just want to thank you, commend you on everything that you have. You have worked tirelessly. Your team has worked tirelessly to get us from where we were to where we are now. And where we are now is amazing. And I appreciate everything that you and your team have done. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm a Nose Club member, and some of our people helped out at the recent bike carnival that was held at Walmart. And when I drove by there, to see that many involved kids and parents in that parking lot that day, was very impressive. It was a hot day, and yet they stuck it out, and you all did your thing for the kids, and I appreciate that very much, very, very much.
Part of any successful police department has to have a solid connection to the community we serve, and we can't connect with them if we don't get involved. And it's to the point now where I don't have to give direction to be involved. They come up with it on their own. My personnel developed the bike rodeo, and they've partnered with Walmart, and that's on them. I mean, they've done this. It wasn't by me telling them they had to. It was they wanted to. They wanted to give back, and they've all jumped on. So I really would like to commend the men and women over there, because they've taken the notice and they've ran with it. And we'll continue with that. And before I go, Councilman Shipley, you asked me about the academy at the college. I didn't let any grass grow under my feet. We have a new director for the academy. Most of you probably know him, Ray Tarango. And I'm recruiting a class sergeant and an RTO right now. And I haven't talked to Ray since last week when he got the job. I went with him over to the college to meet with Phil. I talked to Janice on the phone beforehand on that Friday. She's getting ready to go on a vacation. And then we met with Phil, and he's got it. And right now, our hopes still lie in the fact that we're going to be opening in January.
Awesome.
So in the middle of accreditation, we got that done.
Thank you.
Good job. And just one more thing, Mr. Mayor. Make a list of things that your K-9 needs. I've seen the community step up and provide those needs. Keep it handy and ready. You never know when these donations will come across and help you.
He needs a brother or sister in about 6 months. And we were fairly well supplied, but there's always things that they need. And so I'll be working with Ski to make sure that I have an active list and stuff on there. And then I think we're well prepared right now, but we want this to grow. We want the capabilities of the Globe Police Department to mature and grow with time.
Yeah, Chief, I also just want to commend you too on your department. I've witnessed the transformation. I not only as mayor since 2018 when you came on board, but even prior to that, working for the city. You know, I think they had some great employees there, great officers. They just need the right leadership and direction to get them to the right direction and level. But the building, the personnel, everything, it's been amazing, the transformation that I've witnessed.
And we're not done yet, sir. We're going to keep marching forward. So thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. Anything else?
Thank you. Good luck. Good luck to your staff as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Next, we have consent calendar, and matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine, be enacted by one motion and one vote. Public hearing items are designated with an asterisk. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, the mayor will ask whether any member of the public wishes to remove a public hearing item for separate consideration. Members of the council and/or staff may remove any item for separate consideration also. Item A is consideration of waiver of section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule to allow the action on the balance of the consent agenda. 1, accounts payable, $623,739.22. Consideration of approval of council minutes, June 24th, meeting minutes. And item B is consideration to award contract number CS 2026-0028 to Pump Man Phoenix to make repairs on the Crestline Booster Pump number 1 and number 4 at the water treatment plant for the amount of $11,830.72. Funds for this project are budgeted in account 508052001 well pump repair. Is there anybody from the public, staff, or council wishing to remove any of these items for separate consideration?
Mr. Mayor, if there are no comments or questions, I motion to accept the consent agenda as read.
Second?
We have motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda as read. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed. New business, item 5A is consideration to approve contract number PS 260031 with ASU Lone Star Center for $26,000 to provide capacity building training for a 5-bed tax organization as outlined in the revised bed tax MOU, funded by account 1066-51262, Community Development, with an anticipated partial reimbursement from the United Fund. Linda.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is a great opportunity to kick this program off, not just for our 5-bed tax organizations, but there are 27 other nonprofits that will be participating. And there are 2 crossover organizations. That would be the CV Center, Cobra Valley Center for the Arts, and the Gila County Historical Museum. And so all of these organizations will be receiving not just a 1-year capacity building training, which we will be doing quarterly, 1 day each quarter. Our first training will be October 20th, and that's a Monday. There'll be a morning session and an afternoon session, and it's covering two different curriculums. And all of the first year is building the basics, how to establish good board governance, establishing strong bylaws, if changes need to be made, updates, things like this. So it's really the foundational pieces that we'll be focusing on the first year, how to engage with your community, building additional revenue streams, and then culminating the final class with Lodestar will be strategic action planning. And so it's not just our organizations and their participants sitting in the class with our ASU professors are coming here to offer this training that nonprofit professionals and grad students go through to receive their advanced degree. So we're able to offer that here, and this has been here before. It came here about 10 years ago, and some of us were fortunate to go through this training and put it to practice. And a lot of what we have done here at the City of Globe with our nonprofits and our bed tax organizations are these fundamentals that we did learn, that I was able to learn and bring with me here. So now bringing these tools back to the table and helping these organizations to grow stronger and be more self-sustaining and carry on their core functions, because so many of these organizations are providing those services that a small municipality such as the city or Gila County or the town of Miami, we just aren't able to provide. Those are those social services that address food insecurity, housing, animal welfare, children's programming, and senior quality of life initiatives. So there will be a 4th class that will be added, and that's with a different vendor, and that will be coming back. We'll be presenting on that, and that will be targeted on marketing and branding. And so that vendor has yet to be selected. So we were fortunate to partner with the United Fund of Globe Miami and split this cost and to be able to provide this, to bring it back for an additional 3 years. And it's really fine-tuned and tailored for our nonprofits. We've met with them for the last 4 months, going over each and every agency and what services they provide and where potential strengths and weaknesses might lie. And so, since they have been in our community before, they really do have a good feel for our nonprofit community and how they can best contribute. So this is a wonderful initiative to kick off and really help develop and share the tools that we've been fortunate to use here at the city with our staff and to give those to others. So thank you. Any questions?
Questions, or Mariano, go ahead.
Couple things. I want to thank the councilman that served on this committee to dialogue with the bid tax organizations. I remember the first day that decision was made, and I know there was some contentiousness, that's a long word, in the first meeting. But over time, you all worked together and diffused that and made it a positive. And here we are today doing long-term planning with the same organizations. And I think that's very important that we recognize you all for doing that. That's the reason we're here, a high-level discussion, trying to set a high mark for the future of this community. You hit all three. I'm very proud that you all did that. I'm glad I wasn't at the first meeting. But what I do want to, what I do want to say is that is something that I noticed when I first came on board. Where's the direction of some of these organizations? Where's the viewpoint? Why aren't we working together? That was the last thing I remember thinking. And here we are today. We have a way forward. We have a structured environment to ensure that these organizations, through whatever discoveries they make about each other, that they can blast forward into the future, where we really need them. And Jesse, you're one of those guys that I really appreciate you being on, Jamie.
Thank you.
The point being that we found a way to move forward. And you know, kudos to ASU for coming forward and bringing this program back for planning purposes, to teach them how to do that. Once you get into that planning mode, all you have to do is keep it going. Adjust it every year, like we've done at council level, and move forward. And a lot of that confusion, erasing silos so that you all work together and find those efficiencies where you can have even a more improved product. And that forces you into a future. And I really think that's where we're all headed, and I really appreciate the work that you all did to do that. I don't need your vote, you're not in my district, but I just want you to know, thank you very much for all of that hard work. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Go ahead, Fernando.
I was just curious, how much capacity or how many people will be able to, is there a cap on how many people will be able to attend?
We're prepared for 50, but if there's more demand, we can meet that. It's just being able to be effective in that space, because any more than 50, it's like if anyone has sat in a college class that's larger than 50, it's really hard to help these organizations drill down to their specific needs. But we can figure that out, and that's why we've gotten this invite out. We're hoping for at least 2 per organization, and you know, it is hard to commit to something that is 3 years out. So the face might change, but we hope that the information will be taken back to the organizations and shared. And there will be resources provided to all the participants. So it's not something they have to capture in the moment and then take back to the organizations. They will be given exercises that will be done within our group. So they're not just there to sit and listen, they're there to go to work, and so that they can walk out of each session with something they can take back to their organizations and put into practice. And what's fantastic about this ASU Lodestar is that the sessions may pivot based on what happened in that current one. So this one in October, if we find that, wow, we're not ready for what we have planned for the session in January, we really need to fill in here, then we can pivot and do that. So we're ready for that, but again, we're gearing up to prepare for the May-June strategic action planning, working with each organization. And as Councilman Gonzalez had had mentioned, Councilman Leatham has led the chamber in updating their SAP. And so even though the chamber has gone through that exercise, you can bring that back to the group and showcase that. You know, show what you've learned. Maybe there's some things that between now and next spring, you may want to fine tune based on what you've learned and knowing what other nonprofits are doing in the community. So something else that you had mentioned, you know, working in the silos, we all know it seems like the same 10 people run all of these organizations. And so bringing in a new generation of volunteers, that's really key. And how can we all work better together to help inspire that? So there's a lot of great takeaways here that each one will have their own individual goals and visions, but collectively there's also that higher piece, so that we can help to sustain these organizations and give them the tools to do so.
Couple of logistic questions. Where is it going to be located? Where's the classes going to take place?
At the Cobra Valley Rec Center.
At the rec center, okay, by the golf course. And you're saying the AM, PM class, they're two different classes, they gotta attend both of them?
Yes.
Morning and afternoon, so that's an all-day affair for whoever attends.
The morning is a 3-hour session, then we have a break and network, and then another 3-hour session.
And obviously, the bed tax organization have to have representation there.
Yes.
To maintain their contract with the city.
Correct.
But is there a cost for the other nonprofits that are coming, or this is totally
No,
paid for it?
This is completely covered by the City of Globe in partnership with the United Fund of Globe. And I should have mentioned, it's also with Freeport McMoran, who is the primary funder for the United Fund, and will be covering all of the materials that are needed for the class and all of the food and beverages as well.
Great. Any other questions or comments?
I just have a quick question, Linda. When does this start again? And when does it start?
October 20th.
October 20th is the first one?
Yes.
And then it'll follow through in the spring?
Mm-hmm.
And then-
January 20th, I think, is the next, and so we'll announce that as soon as we have the contract signed, then we can, you know, get that curriculum and the dates out there so that people can know that and put it on their calendars.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's exciting. Thank you.
So thank you, Mayor. Is this a registration, or is
Yes.
just show up?
No, registration is required, just so we know how many people to prepare for, because if we get 100 people that want to come, we'll figure out a way how to do 100 people.
And the registration is with you?
Yes,
there
with
contact?
the bed tax organizations, yes, but with all of the other nonprofits, that's with the United Fund.
Okay.
And so, and the United Fund staff and I, we coordinate so that we make sure that we're not counting the same person twice, or not counting somebody, you know, as part of the tally.
So United Fund have a contact and a contact number, name, everything?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes, and those nonprofits have already received the email, which went out, I believe, 2 Fridays ago, the same Friday that Shelley had sent out the similar email to our bed tax organizations.
Great. Okay.
Do you need this?
Fernando?
Can the council people attend? Because I know we're all on these bed tax, but it might be good if, like,
bet.
2 of them attended and
Yep.
like to also
Absolutely.
attend.
Absolutely, I highly recommend. This is a fantastic training. It's really helped. I can speak on behalf of the United Fund. I serve on the board of the United Fund, and where we were 11 years ago, 12 years ago when I was on the board, our operating budget was less than 100,000. And now putting these tools to practice, we've been able to build our community partners, stakeholders who are invested in our organizations, in our nonprofits. So now we have an annual operating budget of close to 800,000. So over the course of these many years, we've been able to reinvest $7.2 million back into the Globe nonprofit community. That is local dollars going back to local nonprofits. We have a less than 2% administrative fee, so we really make those dollars work hard.
Great. Is this a move forward item, or do you need to waive the rules to get this contract signed?
no, we're not asking to waive the rules.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, one of the concerns always with the bed tax organization has always been that items come up on the agenda and they're not aware of them. And so we notified our normal contact, Shelley notified the contacts, bed tax. I think we contacted the liaisons, make sure that they're aware of this. But we were trying not to waive the rule just because we wanted every chance for the bed tax people to come, to ask questions, to hear the presentation. We're spending $26,000 on them. So we want to make sure they're in the loop and participating.
Then I'll make a motion, Mayor, to move this forward to the next meeting.
We have motion and second to move this item forward to the next council meeting. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you. Next, we go to action item. Item 6A is a pretty exciting item to announce. We're going to be considering to approve a community donation grant GO 2656050074 with BHP Mineral Services for $800,000. This generous donation will be used towards the purchase of a Rosenbauer 110-foot ladder truck for the City of Globe Fire Department. These funds will be received through account 1040-48344 Fire Department donations. And Paul, you're starting with that?
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to start and kind of lay what this agenda is about, and then I'll kick it back to you, and then we have a representative from BHP also here. But BHP has generously offered to do what would be a donation, but a grant, in that there is an agreement with that to the City of Globe to put $800,000 towards the purchase of this $2.4 million ladder truck. It's a significant, severe need. They have stepped up as a member of the community to, they've heard, they see our need, and they want to be part of the community. So this is this is putting your money where your mouth is. I think so. We're really happy about that. Accepting this, what you will be approving will be to approve this donation agreement, and we accept the requirements that we report how we spend it, that we meet some basic requirements for their protection, and it's very straightforward. We would like to do it sooner rather than later, and I will tell you, based on the reading of the language and the discussions prior, because we had a lot of discussions about BHP want to make sure that how will the money be used? Will it be put down and everything? We intend to turn around, and once we receive this money, go ahead and put it down on the ladder right away. I think the sooner we get this money out of our bank into theirs, it will actually earn interest in our account as we wait for the ladder to come here. As you know, I think we're about 15 months away from the ladder. It's in process. Gary, did you go see it? Do you want to, just real quick?
Paul, one question, putting it down, doesn't it save us a certain amount, 42,000, 65,000 or something?
It does. I think that
Discussions.
if we took the money and banked it, we would get a certain percentage. If we give it to them, they will bank it, and they will put the percentage toward the cost. So I think the cleanest is just send it to them, and I think that's what is requested in the agreement, is that we utilize it as soon as possible. But what's the status on that?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of council, just an update. Myself and 4 other members of my staff went back to Minnesota about 2 weeks ago, and we spent 2 days at the factory. A couple of the purposes behind that is to number one, go through the specification for this truck line by line, and look at everything down to the shelves, down to the configuration of stuff, and how it's, how it will be built and configured, to make sure that it's going to meet the needs that we have. The other thing is to go back and go through the factory, see the build process. That helps to help identify what some of those things we may need to modify in terms of shelving, in terms of cabinets. Just an example for this one that we had already put in place was the addition, shortening of the hose bed to a degree, because we don't need quite as much, because we use a smaller diameter supply hose, and the addition of some cabinet space that will help meet meet our needs, because, you know, as a rural department, you know, we tend to have to put more stuff on the truck to make sure we have what we need on a scene that, you know, that in a larger municipality, you know, that equipment could come on a different truck, where we would have to carry it. So we had the opportunity to do that. The update was anywhere between 12 to 15 months to wrap up. They were talking about, you know, sometime between July 2026 to September, beginning of October 2026 was the last update we had.
Great.
Tell them to take their time. Do it right.
I
Mariano?
want to state the obvious. There, in Arizona, fire departments are responsible for the fire service equipment. Other states, sometimes you can go to the county and they'll have a pot of money that they use for fire department procurement and equipment funding. That's not the case in Arizona. We have fire districts in cities and towns. It's on their backs to provide fire service. And I have said this before. A citizen, whether they have a car wreck at Tonto Basin or downtown Phoenix, they expect the same level of service. They just do. And so it's upon us, and we have been working hard and diligently through our departments to find mechanisms to fund the two projects that we deem as our number one, and the ladder truck as well as a fire station. We're working very hard on that. It's really gratifying, in my opinion, to see this come up and help us, to see this entity step forward. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that across Arizona, entities are stepping up to help the locals. And this is one of those instances. I have not seen this before, a private entity offering to help. I've seen government grants, I've seen Homeland Security grants, FEMA grants, etc., that we have to manage and maintain if we go after money in that arena. This one just made this load a little bit better to bear. I'm really proud, and I thank BHP for doing this kind of an action. We really have an opportunity here to finish the build out of this truck. That's all I have, Mr.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, we do have Jason Sutter from BHP, the Superintendent of Compliance and Engineering. And Mayor, I know you had a little bit of a role in this too.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Appreciate the time. On your agenda tonight, BHP is pleased to play a small role in the safety and resiliency of the community. And so we appreciate working with you all. Just do want to acknowledge Allie McKean. She's our Principal Corporate Affairs for North America. She really spearheaded this and got it through our internal approval processes and compliance bureaucracy, as was alluded to. And so she does regret that she couldn't be here tonight, but she got tied up in some travel today and changing meetings and flights. And so we do want to be an active member in the communities where we have operations. So this is a pretty big project and a big chunk of money, but since I've been with BHP in the Globe Miami area, we've done other things with the Old Dominion Park and some volunteer efforts that our employees have done. So I encourage you all to continue that dialogue, either through Allie or through some of your local contacts here. And just know that BHP is in the community and we're willing to help.
Thank you so much.
Just a comment, this is pretty monumental, and this doesn't just benefit the city of Globe, it benefits the entire community. So really, it's a win for the whole area, because that type of equipment is needed, not only in Globe, but in the county area and town of Miami, in the industrial areas, like the mines. All the mines need that, which we don't have capability of that. And, just take back that, when we first heard way back a couple of years ago, when Old Dominion Mine, you guys were gonna close it, and you guys committed to really giving back to the community, and you have stuck to your word. I mean, we've seen different types of donations going to not only Globe Miami, but equipment. You can see all the equipment, different equipment that's in Globe and Miami, and BHP has provided. So you guys have stuck to your word about continue to provide those recreational opportunities because of Old Dominion closing, and then again opening, but then you reinvested back into that. So really appreciative of that. And we hope to bring more stakeholders on to really cut the burden for our residents. It's our residents that, you know, have to pay the taxes and able to afford that. You know, you're $2.5 million, and we're trying to build a station for our firefighters at $13 million. So this is a big chunk of really a help to us, and we thank you very much.
No, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, I think we wanted to get a picture with Jason and some members of the fire up front with you.
No big check or anything?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to get one for him.
Come on up if you want. Tony, did
Get
you
the
bring your,
fire guys up here.
Firefighters up here, Gary.
your ladder truck?
Stand behind you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could real quick, just my appreciation to the city staff, to yourself, to Linda, to those who have taken the time and put the effort into working with community partners, because this will make an amazing difference, not only to our community, to the staff of the fire department, to the area at large, and we appreciate it as a group.
Absolutely.
So yeah, come on down.
Hold up.
Get a photo.
Will we stand up behind you?
Yeah, we'll just stand behind. Get in. You in there?
Got all of us?
Say fire truck.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, as a consequence, I'd like to recommend approval of this community donation grant under that account number. Do we need to do we don't have to do.
No, it's an action
No, because
item.
we talked about this before. So.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
And we have a second.
We got a motion and a second for approval of item 6A. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passed.
Thank you, BHP.
Item 6B, consideration to ratify a contract adjustment to contract PS 2023-0058 with Natalie McInerney for Victims Advocate Services for $1,824 funded by account 1057512334, Police Contractual Service, and anticipated to be grant funded from applicable grant award designated for Victim Advocate Services. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council. That was kind of a tough act to follow, but, so we had actually adjusted Natalie's pay as the advocate based off of the grant that we received. There was kind of some hiccup with the grant, and we had to kind of work through some stuff. And so we're kind of cleaning house now and updating it. This has been before council a couple of different times, and we're just looking for finalization. She's, as you guys all know, she's left us, and we created a full-time position now, a funded position that we're trying to fill currently right now. We're just trying to write the books.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, we have paid Natalie out. This is ratification of that payment, but we did pay over the amount of the contractual amount, so bring it back just to square it up.
No other questions or comments, Mayor? I motion to approve and ratify a contract adjustment for $1,824 to contract number PS 2023-0058 with Natalie McInerney for Victims Advocate Services, funded by account number 1057512334, Police Contractual Services, with it to be anticipated to be funded from applicable grant awards designated for Victim Advocate Services.
Second.
Motion is second for approval of item 6B. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council.
Item C is consideration to approve the water service disconnection agreement between the Arizona Water Company and the City of Globe, authorizing the city to obtain water consumption data and request water service disconnection for non-payment of city utility services by shared customers. Kev.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. This has been a long time coming. We've been working on this for probably over a year now. And I just want to give thanks to our city attorney and the Arizona Water Company attorney. They've been going back and forth for some time and finally got this agreement kind of straightened out and agreed upon. So this is just the next step to bring that agreement. I can go over some details of the agreement if you like, or we can just pass it along. I mean, up to you. If you want me to get in some details, I can do that.
Mr. Mayor, at this point, because it is business with my company, I would entertain any conversations with Travis to the council and mayor, but I will recuse myself on the vote.
So,
Okay, sure.
and so, Mr. Mayor, members of council, if you have questions for Councilman Rios, he can step down and appear as a member of Arizona Water, if need be.
Travis, I guess, do you have in this contract, I guess, is there a simple way of explaining how does this work then? 'Cause
Yeah,
I know
and
it's
I got
only.
an outline. I can kind of go through the responsibilities from the city and the responsibilities from Arizona Water Company and how this would work. So I'll go through that, and if you have any questions, we can go there. So again, it's the two parties between the city and Arizona Water Company. And we have what we call shared customers. So if the customer has water through Arizona Water and they have sewer service with the city, they're considered shared customers in this agreement. And so the purpose of this is you would get data from Arizona Water Company with the consumption data, so we can have more accurate sewer bills for those customers. And in return, they would help us to recuperate lost sewer or past bills from the sewer by requesting Arizona Water Company to shut off the water services. And so that agreement will allow us to do that. It kind of marks out the responsibilities of when and who contacts who at what point in time and how the fees are collected. So I'll start with the city of Globe and our responsibility. So what we would need to do is provide Arizona Water with an annual sewer service area map by the October of every year, so that way they can then identify the customers within that area map to provide to us. We would have to pay Arizona Water a one-time fee of $1,000 to start up this list, because it is some data mining they have to do initially, plus 50 cents per shared customer. And so by the end of each year, December 31st, whatever the shared customer list is, it'd be 50 cents every year from that point forward. So when we request a disconnection, the way the city will initiate that is if we have a shared customer that has past due on a sewer bill at least 90 days or plus, and this is the key word, and there hasn't been some kind of a payment plan provided or it hasn't been delinquent on that payment plan, then we can initiate a request to have the water turned off. And so we will provide and offer some documented payment plan for them, but if they refuse or reject it, then we will go to that disconnection process. And what we'll do, we'll have a posting as part of the Exhibit A in this agreement, where it's posted for 10 days. They'll get a 10-day notice that if the customer doesn't come up with the payment or some kind of agreement to pay on a plan, that the water will be shut off. So they do have adequate notice on that. The way we would handle this, though, for Arizona Water, we would submit the request once a month. So we'll have a list of those that we would request that. And so it'd be kind of done at one time, so it's not always sporadic. And Arizona Water getting going back and forth with the communications on that. So when it comes to reconnection requests, we will then notify Arizona Water to promptly, once the full payment's done or the payment plan has started, to turn the water back on. And of course, there's fees if it's after hours. All those fees will be part of that payment plan to recoup everything that we need to recoup from that. So from the financial obligations, there is a $100 disconnection fee per account, unless Arizona Water could already disconnect it under its own tariff. I'm not sure how that works.
Basically, if we've already turned them off for non-payment for Arizona Water.
Okay.
If we've turned them off, then there's no charge to the city.
And part of the fees for that disconnection too is that they would also, the customer would have to pay a monthly lost revenue fee, and that's gonna be based on the average bill from whatever meter size they have. And it'll be prorated for partial months. So whatever the lost revenue is, that Arizona Water determines from the loss of revenue from the water being shut off, that's part of the bill that, and the fees and the disconnection fees that we need to recoup and submit to Arizona Water. They would also have to pay for any kind of meter repair or replacement if it's damaged. You know, say if Arizona Water goes out there, shuts it off, and it gets damaged for whatever reason, we have to recoup that through us to pay them back for repairing that. And of course, we're gonna be covering any kind of regulatory filing costs with Arizona Water, or with the commission, Arizona Corporate Commission, once they file the proper paperwork for that. Other requirements that the city has to maintain is a $1 million per occurrence, $2 million aggregate general liability insurance. We do indemnify Arizona Water for the claims arising from any city requested disconnections. And of course, the city has the sole discretion of whether or not we ask for that disconnection. Arizona Water can't just go out there and disconnect on behalf of the city. We have to obviously initiate that. Now, from the responsibilities of Arizona Water, they're the ones that have to identify the shared customers from the city provided sewer map that I mentioned earlier. They will provide us with provide the city with the water consumption reports, with account details, the meter information, usage, service charges, agreed to by a certain date. Of course, that information will be maintained confidential, as required in the agreement. As far as the disconnection execution, they will complete the water shutoffs within 6 business days of the request that the city makes. So, and that's only Monday through Thursday, and that's excluding holidays. So if there is a request to shut off on a Friday, it will, from my understanding, it's not gonna be done on a Friday, because then you got the weekend issue there and the timing of that. They will notify the city, Arizona Water will notify the city by email when the disconnection is completed. Arizona Water will maintain the records of all the disconnection requests in action for 5 years, so that we have a record of that. Of course, they would be following all the FCC or ACC rules and approved tariff requirements and the disconnection actions. So as far as the reconnection, Arizona Water will restore the service promptly based on the notification the city provides of the payment, that the payment plan is active and in good standing. Let's see. I think that pretty much covers it, so unless there's anything that you would want to add on the agreement from the Arizona Water side.
Yeah, Travis, Jesse has a question.
Sure. I have a couple questions. Approximately how many customers are currently shared between us and Arizona Water?
We don't know that yet. That's part of the list.
Okay.
I'm gonna say about 250.
Okay.
Not to be exact, but I'm pretty
Okay,
close.
and based off of those numbers just given, what do you anticipate the percentage of payment compliance increase will we see on this side? Based off all those numbers you just gave us, how much we're gonna have to pay for insurance and everything else?
Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I do understand, I think there's about 9, if I remember correctly, from Jody, saying there's 9 delinquent accounts. That's dating a few years on some of them, but I'm not quite sure of that whole number.
And in your contracts that you have currently, how are we going to notify these clients? Are we doing it, or is Arizona Water doing it, or both of us doing it at the same time with the new fees, what they're gonna look like, what they can anticipate, how they could come in for a payment arrangement, are those gonna be on their bills when we send them monthly? Are we going to go to their doors, put a door hanger on there? How are we gonna ensure that those customers know that these policies are changing?
Yeah, so that will be the responsibility of the city. There, as part of the agreement, attachment A is the notification letter that will be posted. I think we do post it on the door, not on a door hanger, but it's taped to the door. And it should expel all the detailed fees that are associated with that disconnection,
Okay.
if it gets disconnected.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Fernando?
Just for the benefit of the public, because I don't think you really touched on this, we've discussed this in the past, and the reason this is an issue is because there was no consequence to one of our residents that wasn't paying the sewer. So we had several people that didn't pay for years. And so they owed a lot of money, but as long as the water's turned on, there's nothing, they don't lose anything. So by this agreement, we'd be able to turn off their water, and now all of a sudden, they're going to need to bring their bill up to date. So, yeah.
Mike, go ahead.
Freddie, you mentioned approximately 250 customers. What area is that in the community?
So the area, the shared customer area, without looking at the map directly, just from what I know, it's in the, everything from
Be west of AutoZone.
where, the business community on US 60 from, AutoZone.
Yep.
From about that point, going west, everything on both sides of the highway, city bounds. All the way up to probably where Fry's is and Pioneer Hills area and all that.
Okay.
My area.
And
So all District 6.
Shipley's, area as well.
Yeah.
Country Club Man?
Country Club Annex, yeah, Country Club Annex.
Yeah,
Club Annex.
all of District 6 is pretty much.
It's about 250 customers total.
Okay.
And I think, Freddie, when you talk about 250 customers, I think when we discussed it with Jody, it's really only about 9 delinquent accounts, but equals around $70,000 to $80,000. You know, people, and it's not just sewer they're not paying for, they're not paying for their garbage fees also. There's some individuals or residents that refuse to pay their bills, even though they're capable of paying their bills. They have a delinquent account. So it'd be a big plus, and I think it is past the interconnect by AutoZone, west of AutoZone.
Correct.
Is where all those. Another question I had is some people rent. So who does that notice go to? I think the renter has to pay the water, but does the owner get notified too?
So when we talk about shared customers, and that's a great question, because we're doing this same agreement in our San Manuel system. There's also one in the West Valley. We call it White Tanks Division, which is going to be very West Phoenix area. So these agreements are not new to Arizona Water, but to answer your question, when we look at shared customers, sometimes customers can get really tricky about who's the operator or the customer of record. So maybe John Doe signs up for water, and then Jane Doe signs up for sewer. And so now that can get a little tricky because who's the shared customer, right? The city might have John, Arizona Water might have Jane. So we've had to work through those obstacles before. But if we know that person lives there, that's a shared customer. Okay, we're not going to get too technical on who's the person of record. If we know that those customers or those people reside in that home, they're going to be responsible. So we've come across that before. Just a little bit on the costs. You know, there's, as Travis mentioned, there's a startup cost, an administrative cost, because Arizona Water's got to build the program specific to the city, right? Its customers, and then gathering all the data, because as a water utility company, our data is gathered by districts, okay? But we're going to scalpel out these shared customers out of 1 or 2 districts, possibly, 1 for sure. So it's just creating all that data and that database so that that can be shared with the city. And then now we know who the shared customers are. So that's a one-time fee. The lost revenues fees, that's a matrix that we have based on our rates, the meter size. Every day that customer is turned off because of a sewer disconnect, that rate is being calculated daily, and that's to help subsidize for Arizona Water's potential loss of sales, of Arizona Water sales. The $100 fee is for the services to do the turn on, turn off, all the serviceman's fees, all the stuff that we do within our in-house, our customer service reps. But the one thing that I don't know that if you understood or not, but those costs
Once the city says Arizona Water, this customer is coming to pay, what do we owe, or what do they owe? Well, they're gonna owe what the city charges them, right, for the sewer, but they're also gonna get charged all those additional fees that Arizona Water is charging the city. So that gets passed on, if you choose to. That's what I've seen in the past. It gets passed on to the customer. So ultimately, that customer that's offered non-pay is gonna cover Arizona Water's loss and the city's loss to get the water turned back on. Okay, so there is some recovery there. Arizona Water, we do at our local office, we'll keep track of all this. We'll be in close contact with the city. I have every intention to, if this passes, to meet with the city staff and go over the complete agreement so that we understand everybody's obligation. And the things that Arizona Water can do and can't do based on our regulatory agency's guidelines.
Fernando?
So, let's just say we have a mutual client, they're not paying, we turn them off, and they just bail. So I would assume that the city would have still paid for the loss or the turn off, and when would it stop on the loss of income? Is there like a cutoff?
Yeah, great point. These are great questions because we've experienced these. You know, you get customers that just skip, run out. Well, the day that we know that the city notifies us and say, hey, this customer is no longer a shared customer, they're gone, right? They may still be a customer for Arizona Water, but they may not be a customer for the city, depending on if they go into the offices and say, hey, I want my water disconnected. So we really can't use the city's data when they tell us this customer has skipped out. They're still a viable customer for us until they've gone through our process to determine, okay, they've skipped, right? So we would work with the city on finding that date that, we can agree that, okay, this customer was out. And I think through communication we're gonna be able to find that out really quick. And that's when all the billing stops, okay, at that point. And then at end of every month, our corporate office will send a bill to the city saying, here's all the lost revenues, here's all the fees for that. But by that time, the city would have recovered because those customers are back on. Okay,
Travis,
now it's gonna be penny for penny, I don't know, but the city is going to recover a lot of its costs.
Travis, just a question. We're not treating, I guess, we do the same for any city residents that are delinquent, except minus the fees from Arizona Water that are within the city water system. Correct?
Correct.
So we still give them the 10-day and whatever. We're not talking to a whole lot of people. We're probably talking 10 residents. They're delinquent. So it's, I don't think it'll be, well, I don't know what kind of paperwork it'd be, but I think the key is communication, understanding what they're gonna be charged with, additional fees, making sure they have the option, they can come to the table and set up a payment program with the city.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a 10-day notification. I don't know what the notification is for customers that have city water and sewer, but talking with Vince just now, he said there's 19 customers, 36,000 in delinquency right now, as of February.
Delinquent?
As of February.
36 customers?
$36,000 for 19 customers.
19 customers on the west of AutoZone.
What we're believing are the shared customers. Correct.
Okay.
So those people have been getting water and sewer services even though they haven't been paying their bill for the last several years?
Well, they've been paying the water bill. Otherwise, we'd be turning them off.
But they're not paying their sewer and garbage.
Are you kidding me?
Well, we didn't have a mechanism to really do anything about them, and.
Take the guard dog out there.
Go ahead, Fernando.
So, on a related topic, is there a reason why we wouldn't just lien the property for the back payment? Or unless I could see that if it's a renter, I guess.
Mr. Member of the Council, Councilor Shipley, I think the other thing we sometimes did was go put a plug in the sewer to try to get the pay. We can lien the property, but, it just the futility of putting the lien on that amount, and it may, and usually it's a renter and not the owner. And I think there's some legal concerns on that for an unpaid utility bill. So, I'd have to look into it whether, as to what point we can lien the property owner if it's the renter that incurred the.
Well, it just seems like they figured out the game and they're gaming the system. They know that there's no consequence to not paying, so they don't.
Oh, I think if we tried to lien the property, they'd feel they were a winner.
Interesting.
If I may, I don't know if this is, I didn't see it in the contract, but there is a request that, as a local manager, I would make is, if this excuse me, if this comes to be, I would request that if there is a disconnect done, that we have a city staff with one of Arizona Water staff, while the disconnect is done, because a lot of times the customers aren't aware, or they're thinking it's an Arizona Water Act alone. And so that when both, I just find it, just from my experience, it better serves the shared customer as to why they're getting turned off.
And I believe that is in the agreement.
Is, okay.
I believe there's language that says that.
Very good. It wasn't in a previous one, so I'm just making that statement.
And one thing to add to, this still has to go through the whole ACC filing, so this is just step one. I'm not sure how long that's gonna take, but we're
Well,
gonna.
I can speak to that. I spoke to my attorney this morning, and he said that, knowing that this is gonna go to council vote, that as soon as I let him know the results, he will work on the Arizona Water side and start getting signatures, so.
Okay.
And thanks to Bill Sims and my attorney, as Travis said, it was a long time going back and forth. And you know how attorneys are, if one word isn't fit, they gotta find another word that fits, so. It did take some time.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, you know, I gotta give credit to Arizona Water attorneys. They're very detail orientated. And just make sure they got it right.
We know that.
Mayor, I would move to approve the water services connection agreement with Arizona Water.
We have a motion and a second for approval of item 6C. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Abstaining?
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, he's abstaining. Make sure you get that in the record.
yeah, and he did state that he's abstaining
Yes,
from any vote.
I did recuse myself.
Thank you for all the work on that.
Gotcha. Got it over the finish line. We got it, yeah.
Okay, item 6D, consideration and discussion to approve purchase order number 26112 issued to Peoria Ford for the amount of $46,952.40 to secure the purchase of a replacement of F-150 Police Administration Vehicle and approval to transfer $22,872.43 from account 103946393 insurance proceeds. Funds for the purchase of the vehicle will come from account 105752000 capital, police capital outlay equipment. Eric.
Good evening, Mayor Gameros, Vice Mayor Stapleton, members of council. As you know from this agenda item, this is not one of the budgeted vehicles. And unfortunately, this is a vehicle that the police have been without since, I think, June 1st. When there was a collision where a civilian wrecked into the police car. So this is the replacement of that vehicle, and Southwest Risk is paying off $22,872 on the vehicle, and then the police department is taking it out of the capital outlay to pay for the balance of that to replace the vehicle. This vehicle is a 2025 model F-150, and it is on the lot.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Being that we went to Peoria Ford, was there a reason that we didn't shop local?
Yes,
Did we
because
get competitive bids?
yes, because the local dealership is not a part of the state contract pricing. So there was that aspect, and then the other thing will be that Chief Walters is already very familiar with Peoria, and I think Public Works as well, in terms of them servicing the specific needs of Public Works and police and fire vehicle needs in the state. according to Dearborn, Michigan, Ford's direct office, the #1 Arizona state contract vendor in the state is Peoria. And they kind of helped us out with everything last minute and were really helpful with that. And it's everybody else's budget too, not just ours, that have all been approved. And with all that commotion, they've still been able to help us really helpfully.
And I guess, just a little further explanation, state contract means you don't have to go through the process of, procurement and.
Yes.
And is there a percentage amount that, really is lower than going to a regular price, I guess, I don't know.
I think Eric can answer that. The state contract saves about, what did you?
If you buy a F-150 of this magnitude off of a Ford lot, you're looking at like $83,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
And that's not including the really police specific things like the sort of bulletproofing they add to the frame and stuff. So if you even looking away from that, just a couple of us have bought vehicles recently, and
They're expensive.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, a certain amount of dealerships always will go through and do that bidding process. They're trying to get the municipal and the law enforcement business by going out and getting on state contract, making commitment for the lowest price, trying to attract the business through the volume. So we save through their volume. Peoria is one of probably the largest in the state because they do the volume, because they move them around. They can make less per unit, and that's what they count on. They work real well with everyone. If you were, like say, an average dealership, I know that when McSpadden's Ford was up and running, they would never go for those contracted or state contract. That was an option they chose not to do. I remember he said it just didn't make sense for him at his size and his volume, and he couldn't compete with those larger dealerships that's made those specialty. They had the overhead to move the stock. So.
Go ahead, Fernando.
I used to work at Brown & Brown Chevrolet, and so the fleet dealers, fleet managers can get much better deals because they are buying that volume, and so they make it on that volume. So that's it is like McSpadden couldn't even give you that price. He would have lost money if he would have tried to match it. So that's very common.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, there's some kind of point system. The more you move, the more units you move, the more, the discount from the factory, so they can actually purchase them below the normal costs, and so it's an incentive program.
Just because we have been out there saying shop local, if from this point forward you could entertain some bid from local to have something to compare to this. So we're not just going for state bid contracts. We're out in the public every day saying shop local, support local. And if we're just running straight to Peoria because Peoria does something better for us, rather than going local and saying, this is what we need to do, having that so that way this council can look at it, we can show to the public saying, these are the prices, and this is where we came. And I don't want to take into consideration what the sales tax is. We've done the sales tax appropriations. We made it higher, so we need to discount that and see what those total costs are. Because at the end of the day, that sales tax is still coming back to us. But I would like to see that moving forward
in the future.
Yeah.
Just a question with that, you're saying other dealers of courtesy even entertain that?
I don't know.
So but Fernando said, I don't know if they would even.
But even if they said no, then we have something.
We have something in writing.
That said no. We tried to shop local.
Not interested in.
Correct.
Okay.
Mayor and council, I can't speak for all vehicles, but I can speak on the public's on the dump trucks. Previously, if you've all seen my fleet service body, when we purchased that one, that was actually even too, speaking with the dealership, they won't entertain taking certain types of orders, just like the dump trucks, because what they actually have to do is purchase the truck and then they send it back out of town, and then there's additional costs to them, and then they have to retrofit the bodies on those, and just like the service body. So speaking with McSpadden at that time when we ordered that one, he says, I'm not even gonna be able to compete with that because I have to send it back. Same thing with the dump truck. So there are certain vehicles and certain calibers that the local dealership may not do that, and we have entertained that, but usually going that route
where like this one says, what it is like the local vendors don't have that connection, or they have to send it off, and where some of these already have, it's actually in the same property, or it's down the street, so they actually just send it down the road, it's upfitted, and then it's sent in, so that has been
I
considered.
can see that for dump trucks for special orders, but I'd just like to see entertaining that shop local mindset that we're trying to get people to be behind, that the city is also behind that we've entertained that.
If you don't mind, Paul, I'd like to add one more thing.
Sure.
When you talk about why they charge us for the state contract, the other important part of this is when somebody orders a state contract for that portion of it, it's a guaranteed sale that they know they're going to get. It's not gonna sit on a lot, and is there a risk we're gonna lose more because it's gonna be discounted tremendously? They already know what they're gonna get, so that helps too.
Couple of questions. Maintenance and recalls would stay local, I guess, and not go down to Peoria. Ford, I would think if you had a recall or a maintenance issue or maintenance work on these vehicles, that they would stay local for maintaining.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of council, like I say, we do a lot of work with the local dealership for the maintenance and warranty work and regular, regular stuff. It's very helpful to have a Ford dealership when you're buying Ford products in town.
Okay.
I know Dale's very familiar with the Ford dealership.
And just one other question, just so I understand, the 22,870 is coming from the risk pool then?
Yes.
Okay.
And one of the unique things that, so when the insurance looked at the truck and said, okay, this truck is valued at X amount of dollars, it's this years old, the insurance rarely doesn't factor in the fact that it's fully outfitted as a patrol vehicle, has a cage, has the mount for the computer, the lights and sirens. We're gonna try to use actually a local company to flip this. We found a company locally to do these lights installations and things like that. So that's one way we are trying to support a local what would it be, service person. And we hope if the quality's good that we think the turnaround times will be a lot faster than buying it and sending it back to the valley. If we can get it upfitted here, that would be a big win.
I think I heard we got a good installer in Miami that does all that, radio and lights, everything. He does an excellent job in Miami. There's a guy there.
That's who we're looking at.
Huh?
That's who's doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I would also add that when you asked a question about some of the state contracting, is it really the best deal? I don't remember which dealership it was. I could find out. I could look up in the old notes, but we did identify the one that Enterprise was using for the ones we leased where we got them from them, and those were $53,000 starting without any outfit. So we did really find the best deal.
Are we ratifying this contract? Has it been already approved?
No, no payments have made. We're in the process of doing the purchasing, but if this is turned down, we will just shut down the deal. We've just been doing the paperwork. We got the purchase order, trying to keep these moving. One of the advantages, I mean, the money was budgeted. We're moving quick. We're getting 24s and 25 vehicles before they come out. They're in, I think the majority of those are in stock. And so they want to move those out quickly too. So that's why we're moving quickly on this. But still, it's budgeted. It is budgeted money, but it needs your approval. It's over 25,000.
No other questions or comments? A motion to approve item 6D as read.
Second?
Motion second for approval, item 6D is read. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item E is consideration and discussion to approve purchase order number 26127 issued to Peoria Ford in the amount of $147,142.04 to secure the ordering of 2 new budgeted F-350 dump trucks for the Public Works, Water, and Wastewater Departments. Funds have been budgeted in account 106152000 Public Works Capital Outlay Equipment for the amount of $102,142.04. Account number 50805200 Water Capital Outlay Equipment for the amount of $22,500, and account number 51805200 Wastewater Capital Outlay Equipment for the amount of $22,500. Eric.
Mayor, members of council, this one is similar to the other one, except for this one was 100% budgeted for. Not from
We've
an
had
accident.
discussion on it.
And it did come in, less than we budgeted for, less than what we planned, so there was a savings on this realized for this vehicle for $32,857. These two are on the lot, they are 2024s, which is not really odd, because the bigger model vehicles, like the 350s and the 3500s, those are often the ones you see sitting on a lot, even the regular retails, the bigger ones that, with a special purchase that someone hasn't bought yet, so that makes a lot of sense on this one, for it to be 2024.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor, if there's no further questions or comments, I would make a motion that we approve purchase order number 26127 as presented.
Second?
Motion and second for approval of item 6E as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item F is consideration discussion to approve purchase order number 26125 issued to Norwood Equipment Incorporated in the amount of $470,849.85 to secure the ordering of a non-CDL sweeper for the Streets Department. Funds have been budgeted in account 128052000, half-cent excise tax capital outlay equipment. Eric.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this one is a little bit different. It's obviously a much larger amount. We did manage to save the $4,000 on it from getting the CDL contract. Vince and John had worked closely with the vendor to pick out the specifications that they need. One thing that I got wrong earlier is this one isn't waiting to be built. This one actually is here. They just have to do some modifications for it, and John mentioned that it's looking like maybe about September it might be ready possibly.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is a large purchase, and John, did you want to talk about the need in general? I know we talked about this in the budget cycle, but the need for this and anything else you can add to the purchase.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As indicated, I think previous work sessions, we talked about this item. This has always been, of course, everybody knows it's true to my heart because I ran it for so long. It's actually the current one we utilize is a 1994, so it's kind of beyond its life cycle as far as equipment goes. So the current one we do, you notice we don't run the sweeper as often as we used to. It's because mechanically it's pushing its limits and having, like I said, a lot of times too, a short staff and getting people out there. So I've often offered to go out there, but I'm usually kind of shot down on that one. But the biggest thing is the importance of having this vehicle for downtown events, storm cleanup. Unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of rain, but when we do, this piece of equipment is key. Where I've also previously discussed, we've got right now when we have an event as far as cleanup, we have to send 3 people out just to do with the old stuff, the broach broom that we do. You'll see that orange one that they use in roads and streets projects. And then you have a loader, then you have a dump truck. So one's pushing it, one's picking it up. So you're getting 3 or 4 employees to do that, where this broom actually takes 1 employee to get out there and run the equipment and pick that material up. And there's a lot of areas that really high traffic that you don't want that type of foot traffic out there in between vehicles. This type of equipment actually does it in one shot.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, and John, you kind of custom selected this. It's a non-CDL, which gives you flexibility, and any other bells and whistles or the decisions made on the purchase?
So actually, basically, I've been, as previously discussed and presented, this is kind of the standard right now in sweepers. ADOT's utilizing the same broom bear style. The county has one that's identical. When we talk about non-CDL, it does have an air brake system, but actually it is below the threshold as far as weight, so you can run it. You don't have a CDL, and especially these days, a lot of times getting CDL drivers trained in operating equipment, that's always another issue that, not just the city, but other areas are being affected by it. So this equipment is pretty much the standard right now, and with the longevity, of course, I hope to get another 20, 30 years out of it. But the biggest thing is like I said, the only additional equipment that I added was additional LED lighting for safety and, for traffic wise. So, and then there's some additional coatings that the equipment that we have that we've utilized the wear, of course, it's aged.
that there's things that they've enhanced in the last 30 years that are part of this package.
Fernando?
I would move to approve, purchase order, number 26,
125.
20. Okay, yeah, correct, that, 25.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item 6F. Is there any further discussion?
I'd just like to point out Jesse was probably 2 when that.
I was just calculating, he said he wants 30 more years, I'll be 65.
Chasing them out of the way, get off the road.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Item G is consideration and discussion to approve purchase order number 26114 issued to Peoria Ford in the amount of $287,258.30 to secure the ordering of 5 new F-150 police pursuit vehicles. Funds have been budgeted in account 10575200 police capital outlay equipment. Eric.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is the long-awaited police vehicles and breaking away from all that leasing that we've been looking forward to. The amount of the total cost that we're asking for approval tonight leaves that balance of 151 for upfitting. 2 of them are on the lot, ready to be upfit. The other 3 will be ready to be on the lot within weeks.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, the additional money to cover the replacement vehicle, the initial 150, was pulled from that same line item, but because of the good pricing we believe we can do the upfitting that we need to get done, and still cover, I think, the 22,000 that we needed to replace the administrative vehicle.
24.
Mr. Mayor, if there are no other further questions, I'd like to approve purchase order 26114 as read.
Second.
Motion is second for approval of item 6G. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. Item H is consideration and discussion to approve purchase order number 26116 issued to Peoria Ford in the amount of $76,919.16 to secure the ordering of 2 new budgeted Ford Ranger trucks for the water and wastewater departments. Funds have been budgeted in account 50805200 water capital outlay equipment for $38,459.53 and account 51805200 wastewater capital outlay equipment for $38,459.53. Eric.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I thought I was done, I'm sorry. I forgot about the Rangers. Yep, so these are the 2 Ford Rangers that were budgeted for the water and wastewater department respectively. There's a savings of $13,000 on it, and those 2 are on the lot.
On the lot.
On the lot, cool.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor, if there are no more further comments or questions, I would make a motion that we approve purchase order number 26116 as presented.
Second.
Motion is a second on item 6H, I'm sorry. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item I is consideration to approve the purchase of a 2025 Ford Ranger in the amount of $41,844.33 for the Community Development Department. Funding for this vehicle will come from cost savings realized in the purchase order number 26127 in the amount of $32,858, account number 10615200, Public Works Capital Projects Equipment transferred to number 10696200, Community Development Capital Projects Equipment, and utilizing the cost savings realized in purchase order number 26116 in the amount of $4,493.18 from account number 50805200 Water Enterprise Capital Projects Equipment, and $4,493.18 from account number 51805200 Wastewater Enterprise Capital Projects Equipment.
So,
Paul.
Mr. Mayor, wanted to give you a little background on how this one came to be on the agenda. On Tuesday, found out from Eric, and Eric did all of the shopping and got the good deals that we, like I say, we came in way low from what we had budgeted for these items. And so in thinking as to how we could best utilize the windfall savings from this, I go back to the meeting we had a budget work group meeting, Mr. Mayor, with you, Vice Mayor, and do you remember I can't remember who the third person was.
With Councilman Gonzalez.
And Councilman Gonzalez, and we talked about significant needs of the departments and went through this. And so at that point, Dale talked about needing the 5 vehicles and the 2 scouts. Of course, we talked about fire with needing a new building and a ladder. John talked about needing 2 vehicles and staffing and a concrete crew. And so that was on the list also. We also talked about the library needing a storage unit, still working on that. Okay. And Linda needed help in her department, and Tony was still using, a second level hand-me-down vehicle in his department there. And so when the money came up, since we were buying vehicles and getting good deals on vehicles, it was my decision to bring forward the proposal that is before you now, which is that we take these fund savings, since they were all budgeted for vehicles, money that was, it's not coming from anywhere else, but savings in these, that we go with the next item on my list of capital requests from the city together. And that's where we were trying to do this. The majority, 80% of the funding for this, so what we came up with, what we put in the budget put on the agenda tonight for community development is a straight up 2-wheel drive, 4-door Ranger, about 43,000, is it?
42.
41.
I'm sorry, 41.
And so, putting that on there so that we could get, at least start the flow of vehicles to do that. 32,000 of the money that was saved, came out of, general fund. And then there were savings on the 2 Rangers. I would, in thinking about this, community development, the building officials, we work with all aspects of the city. Enterprise funds are to be used for water and sewer, but you have to remember that new development, there was a whole lot of, when we were approving Hill Street, there was a whole lot of work with water and sewer. The hotel down what was Oyo has a gigantic water sewer component to it. Pretty much every building has that, and our building department does spend time on water and sewer. So I think to have 10% of the funds coming out of water and 10% of the funds coming out of sewer is legitimate, realistically, and acceptable. But there's 2 questions, and the bigger question is, and this is your budget, and so we have extra savings from the full line item budget of vehicles. The question on the table for you: do you want to spend that money on an additional vehicle, or do you want to put that money back in savings, let it fall back in, it'll come out as fund balance on the other end? The second thing is, if you want to use it on vehicle, do you want to take the recommendation of staff, or do you want to do something else with that? The third one is, do you think are you okay with using 20% from enterprise, or would you like that money to come from somewhere else? We do have the availability of pulling from the 150. It's $9,000. It's not, we're not talking about huge amount of money on the enterprise fund, but that would be the other option, is we could easily parlay that to modify the request and pull that from contingency and then use that to cover the balance, leaving the enterprise money alone. So I've said a lot, and Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Mariano.
A couple things. John Trujillo wrote the analysis on the fleet, which was a very sobering moment, by the way. And I've been in those situations before where you're faced with a fleet that is outdated, high maintenance costs beyond what you ever dreamed of. And having said that, the ability to take a stab at that list in a previous career was very difficult. And so I thank John for writing it up. Tonight's work looks to me that we've taken a big stab at it and have improved our vehicle fleet. I think it's very important as we approach this future that we address it and move on. The second thing is, Eric, the next time I go shopping at Fry's, I'm taking you with me. The point being, that's what a good administrator should be doing. How to get the biggest bang for the buck for this fleet that we're trying to roll into the future. I think that's a good pun. But the point is, I think we've exercised good due diligence
These three gals,
tonight to
hard
get there,
work, finance.
and I really appreciate the work that you've done. And I know everyone else in all the departments are doing the best they can to help you get the best bargains, because they know the dealers, they know the contractors, they know those things, and then they balance that against what they can buy. And some of these vehicles, and John, that sweeper, I take that thing and shoot it after the new one comes in. The point is that we have earned that moment to improve our fleet. Our revenue, that's the last thing I want to say, our revenue is up. We've positioned keep shaking my finger at you, Paul. We've positioned ourselves in the various mechanisms for receiving revenue without touching property taxes. That is a clever way of saying we figured it out. How to raise our revenues, not touch property taxes, and at the same time improve our city services. That's a hat trick in my book. So please remember that as long as our revenues are up and our departments are doing the marketing out there to bring tourism into the region, all of those things we've been hitting the past 4.5 years in my career here. We've been doing it. Revenues are up, and now it's time to move forward and improve our city's fleet and the service that they provide to the community and the entire region. So this is a harbinger of a night. I really am proud of what we've accomplished tonight. I really think that we're positioning once again into the future, and that's good planning. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have to say. I really thank you, Eric.
Yes, one and a half.
I go grocery shopping on Saturdays, so.
Okay, Mike, first.
Yeah, Eric, you did a good job, as Mariano says, but I think we have three ladies out here in the audience who you work with real close with, and we should thank them for helping out, because that's a lot of money and there's a lot of savings in there, and I think it makes the city look good. And all the naysayers out there, are gonna be calling us tomorrow, so keep your sheets with you. And you'll be okay.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, we're not, like I say, we're not leasing them. We're saving money on the lease, and then we're saving money on sweeping, on finding good prices.
Okay. Jesse, go ahead.
So I have a couple things here. So the previous item were two budgeted Ford Ranger trucks at $76,919.16, which puts each truck at approximately $38,000. Why is this truck $42,000? If it's the same exact truck.
It's not.
It's not. So what's different about it? Why is this more expensive than what we're paying for Public Works?
Vince decided to go with the basis model he could due to availability. Those two were available. The other vehicle didn't have those kind of Public Works specifications and is available now.
And so we're gonna go with an upgraded vehicle for this department based off the savings from Enterprise.
Yeah, I believe so.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
If we got cost savings from Enterprise and they did it to ensure that the city was saving money, Why are we not doing the same for this other department?
So the, I missed the part about, we're not buying this from Enterprise.
No, the enterprise, enterprise fleet, their enterprise department, our department, the enterprise
okay.
has taken savings, cost savings to save the city money. But then we're gonna turn around and spend that savings on this one vehicle. And this one vehicle
My goal is
could
buy as
just-
many vehicles for the
But
city
this
as possible.
vehicle could be just the same, it could be a base model and cost us $38,000 instead of $42,000. It's a difference of $4,000, but if we're looking at savings and savings across the board, and we're moving funds from one department into another department because of savings, shouldn't we then look at any savings that we can possibly get? And it should just be across the board then, this is what we're doing.
So,
And if we're looking, and if, I'm just gonna ramble here for a minute, if we're looking at $2 million for a ladder truck, and we are scrounging pennies, we're asking for funds, we're looking everywhere that we possibly can. Couldn't this $42,000 be better spent in a savings account, making money for us, and then put towards our fire truck? And then come CIP next year, we can then look at our Ford Ranger.
Well, the bigger argument is we felt it was, we had the capacity to spend 1.18 million on vehicles, and get 11 vehicles, and now we're finding we can get 12. So I think that budgeting wise, we have that was the decision made. We will, as we looked in the fleet, which fleet is all of the city, if we wait a year to buy that, it will not be the $43,000. It will be more. It'll be a 26. It'll probably have more federal regulation, and I don't know. So I think if we have the money now,
in the future, what that price is gonna be.
No, but
we have currently on the table a $2 million fire truck that needs to be paid for, a $13 million fire station that needs to be paid for.
Yeah.
And so if we are just continuing to spend this, and we're good for the staff that they found this savings, that we can save $42,000 from what we thought we were gonna have to spend. And I just think it's imperative for us as council to look at that and say, okay, we could have an F-150 or a Ford Ranger truck, or we can bank that when we're out here asking our partners in the community to help us pay for this.
well, in the second issue is, no, we could take the 32,000 and put it back in the fund balance and save it to put in the next budget cycle. But I think, I feel that not doing anything for the vehicles that are some of these non-PD Public Works vehicles also that are not getting addressed. I'm trying to put out as fixes as we can find, and so it is just my recommendation that money would be best used. This is my recommendation to council, and council can take my recommendation or they can choose to do something else. But based on everything I know, my experience and my 9 years working here, I think that $43,000 is best used to go ahead and purchase another vehicle, but it is council's prerogative.
Approximately 2 to 3 years ago, we purchased a vehicle for economic development, which is now community development. Does that vehicle stay within community development, or has it since moved out of that department? Thus needing us to buy this truck.
So this is the community development department, which is Tony along with Mary Helen and Gary and that staff, so that's not where the economic development vehicle is.
Okay. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Freddie, go ahead.
So, correct me if I heard you right. Of this vehicle that we're talking about, 20%, 20,000 is coming out of,
5,000 from water, 5,000 from sewer,
and the rest is coming from
general fund.
general fund. Okay. So it's not all coming from.
No, and
enterprise fund.
80% is general fund, 10% water, 10% sewer.
And because as we went through all these, it sounded like there was savings just across the board as you were talking. So that could have come from any other department?
Well, we were trying to keep, I was trying to keep a theme here by using the savings from the money of the vehicles and not go into fund balance, not steal from any other budgets, because you start stealing from other budgets, then you're causing problems down the road. By taking advantage of these savings and and structuring that money together to get one more vehicle to check off one more purchase this year, rather than delaying it and costing the city more money.
Okay, I just want to be clear on where the money was coming from. I understand, you know,
Yeah.
our development services is doing a phenomenal job. They probably do need some transportation. And we've already had a citizen make a comment about, you know, transparency and why are we taking money from our capital, not capital outlay, but our general, gosh darn it.
Public Works.
Yeah, Public Works and distributing it somewhere else. So I think explaining it is probably a lot better to understand. And I know, you know, we spend thousands and thousands of dollars in many places. And, you know, I know that 5,000, 10,000 is for the sake of not saying that we're the filthy rich, but we've spent a lot more than that on certain things. And I'm in favor of this purchase. I think it's good. We obviously did a lot of great work finding these discounted vehicles. And yeah, we know, we've already been told across the board how many vehicles we need. We've been told by the, you know, police department, you know, the ladder truck. It's just across the board. We're, to Councilman Mariano's topic, you know, we're at a point where we can do this. And I think we can't get caught up in the moment of, we can do this because we've created an economic engine that allows this. And I think just for the sake of transparency, we really need to be careful about where we're pulling money from and where we're sending it to, because you know, the enterprise funds are a huge amount of the city's revenues, a huge amount. But then there's a huge cost to run this city, in water and sewer and public works. I mean, it's a monumental cost. So I appreciate the explanation, and I think it's a valid one. I understand Councilman Leatham. If we're looking at cost savings, you know, we should be mindful about all across the board. And you know, I know it's, like you said, it's only $4,000, but
Still 4,000.
you know, it's
4,000 times two, so
$8,986.
$8,986.
Okay. So, I mean, those are things that, you know, I think these are just suggestions to, you know, staff to look at and say, hey, if we're going to save one place, let's look at saving across the board. Just for that transparency. But not to say that anything is wrong here. This is monumental purchase. As a matter of fact, as long as I've been on council, I've never, ever had to vote on this much purchase on vehicles for our city staff. So it's never, you've never seen it? So it's monumental.
Yep.
I think we're putting a cloud over something that's really great.
Right.
Okay, and I would like to end this meeting and this discussion on a happy, great note. So, thank you. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
Mayor, I'd like to go ahead.
I got a comment. Yeah, I think we need to look at, also consider the vehicle we're replacing with this. Do we have a vehicle that we're getting rid of?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's the one that says "God Bless America" on the back.
Okay, so we're looking, we got to look at.
That one? No, we're not getting rid of that one. Do you want to, Tony? Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, which vehicle are we getting rid of?
Which? We're not, okay. Tony, can you explain what the vehicle situation is that you have now? Just.
Because I know the vehicle that, if it's the one Tony's driving, I know that's an old Southwest gas truck that was obtained by Tri-City Fire with 120,000 miles. They ran it, and then they gave it to us. So I don't know how many miles that thing has on it and how long it's been on the road.
How many vehicles do you have?
We have one currently.
Oh, okay.
Right, under community development.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
The code enforcement, so that would be, yeah, that's the other one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what year either. So one is the code enforcement vehicle. It says code enforcement. You've seen that one for a while. And then the Tri-City vehicle.
Tri-City truck, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Good to see you all. I was brought up here, Paul was asking me to explain what we have. I'm glad to answer any questions. We have, going off of what, Paul, you just mentioned, we do have our code enforcement, vehicle. Community development consists of licensing, code enforcement, zoning, inspections, permitting, okay? So, other than code enforcement, we have one vehicle that, if you're lucky, starts every day when you gotta use it. So I just wanna paint that picture. It is old, it's beat up, it is gonna require maintenance and possibly much more, which that's another factor that you'll probably have to equate into this. But I'd also like to talk about the economic driver that these departments are bringing into our funds. And without having the proper tools, just like any other department, how do we continue that and do that and provide services to the citizens of Globe? We can't. So again, we have one vehicle. We can't take that vehicle out of anywhere in the city limits because it's unreliable. And again, if you think I'm exaggerating, please come any morning that you would like and hop in my truck and start it and see how it works every day for you. So it's a roll of the dice, literally. So that's why we asked for this. This vehicle is updated. This is one of the, I believe, the oldest, probably mechanically unsound vehicles we have
How old is your truck right now?
in our fleet currently.
What year is your truck? That's,
I'm not sure.
So all fuels, is it, it's
what?
92?
92?
120, yeah, that's right. 220,000 miles on it.
220,000 miles on it.
And it was set up as that all fuel vehicle.
Classic?
Well, it is an alternative fuel vehicle, well, it was. I'll just mention it was set up for LPG use, that's no longer operative, but yet the infrastructure's still in there. I believe, when I brought it to fleet before and we talked about the starting issues, it had something to do with that infrastructure. And they said that it would just be a little extensive to try to remove that and recap everything. It just wouldn't be cost effective is what I gathered. So that's why we have the issues with the vehicle. And so, having just to relay the importance of having a reliable vehicle, continue our work and our efforts in our section, community development, is important. Even our code enforcement vehicle is aged out and has quite a bit of miles on it, and is also one of the oldest, more beat up fleet vehicles that we have, but currently still usable.
So Mr. Mayor, members of council, so Tony, if you had this other vehicle, are you sharing this vehicle with Gary?
Yes.
Okay, so you have an inspector that goes out on the road, and so the two of you can't be out on the same time unless you're going the
That's
same
correct.
place.
So we're faced with that dilemma and, trying to iron out inspections throughout the day and then what I have to do throughout the day, which could be meetings, site visits, training on either side. We don't have the availability. So, a lot of times we have to do a POV move, which is not ultimate.
What's POV?
Private vehicle. Use your own vehicle.
Use your own truck?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're in that position.
Yeah, no.
We're requiring our staff to use their own vehicles.
Yep.
No, that's,
So with that, I think we kind of beat this one into the ground. I'd like to propose that we accept the purchase order number 26127 as read.
Second.
We have a motion, a second for item 6I. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Motion passed.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for good job.
I'll see you Saturday.
Do we have any late agenda items? None that we have?
No, we do not, Mr. Mayor.
Second call to the public. Do we have anybody online?
Let me look again.
I'll wait till tomorrow morning.
Mr. Mayor.
Tomorrow morning, we'll see how the money was spent.
Mr. Mayor, hang on one second and let me find the right. No additional, call the public.
Scheduling the meetings,
Nothing on scheduling meetings?
future agenda items, anybody have any?
No, I would like to see us look at the code for requiring asphalt on new builds versus decomposed granite or any other substrate.
So,
I'd like to
and,
look at that and see what it would look like.
and, can we, when we get this future agenda, okay, so I can talk about it. Okay, so,
Future.
on Thursday night, this Thursday night, 6 o'clock, our zoning administrator is presenting, the initial conversation, educating P and Z about alternative, solutions for paving. All right, and they're going through the granite, concrete, chip and seal pavers and that. We are in the middle of, we have a draft, text amendment that we have worked on already. The process will be as they go through that, P and Z will make a recommendation based on their input. There'll be a public process and that will come to council already. So it is in the works. We will be broadcasting, the P and Z meeting on Thursday, and so you can see everything. And, at some point, this will come before council in all its glory. So, and, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request that, Paul, you provide us with a new organizational chart so we know
Yes.
where everybody is and who everybody is, because we got all kinds of people out there.
Yeah, well, and, Mr. Mayor, Members of Council, to Councilman Pastor, we have, the budget book coming out, which is gonna have, everything in there, including the org charts, in there, but I can see if I can get you quickly, before that comes out, just those 4 org charts. But I'll look quick, because the names change pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
So, and one other, Mayor,
Yeah.
do you have one? Okay, I have one.
Well, I just had a question. So the process is looking into code change for different types of, surfaces. Planning and zoning is where it goes first.
Yes.
They review it, and then they give the recommendation. We have the final say, really.
Yeah,
but-
final say on
but
that.
It starts with planning and zoning.
It starts with planning and zoning, do the homework and hear the public input.
Okay.
And then I think the other one was an update on the skate park.
Yes.
Yes, and so we're gonna put that, on the next agenda. We did have we did, it is what it is. We did a procurement, we put out a bid, all the bids came in high. We're trying to modify the scope so we can get that down lower. But I did want to get a more comprehensive explanation to council as to why that is we're still working on that.
Okay.
So,
Any other future agenda items? We have motion to adjourn.
Nate?
Second?
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting
Aye,
adjourned.
aye, aye.
Thank you.
6-minute meeting. Yeah, well, that's pretty good.